Hey beautifuls, Hannah from Reality Awareness here, of course. But if this is your first time to my live stream, please comment below, say hi, let me know where you're from. Let me share this with you, or share this live stream. Obviously, this is a big title in this live stream. There's a lot that I've got to say, right? It's been a little bit for me arriving back home. Is this home? Is this where my home is? I don't know. But there's a lot I want to talk about, right? So just let me share this as always, and I shall be present with you. I know I've been a little bit quiet on social media. That's me arriving back home, but I've been like big time working behind the scenes on quite a few things. So you guys will see that later. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Right. A little town in Illinois. Awesome. Welcome, Gabrielle. So it's a pretty big topic that I'm talking about, right? Got a lot to say. Of course, as always. Okay, awesome. It's letting me share quickly. Yay. Okay. So this topic, father masculine wounding / healing. The reason we heal father masculine wounding is because it's all about receiving. Now you might think, but Hannah, receiving is a feminine energy. And yeah, it is, right? To receive, we have to be open, vulnerable, receptive. But the most important thing is that we have to feel safe in being open, vulnerable. And when you really think about it, to receive isn't open like you can imagine, like a flower. It's open, right? But the masculine energy is a penetrating energy. It comes in. Yes? You have to feel safe to receive for it to come in, right? So when we look at healing masculine wounding, it's about letting it come in. Do you actually feel safe to receive the masculine fully? Okay? On an energetic level, about receiving anything. Yeah, it's not just about more money or a relationship or this, everything. If you're closed in receiving, you're closed with everything. Yeah, if you got a block in one thing, you have a block in another, right? So, and by the way, a little side note, all the receptivity is about ear chakra consciousness. Yeah, so this is feminine, this is masculine, this is feminine, this is masculine, feminine, masculine, solar plexus, sacral, feminine, masculine. Yes, they've got masculine and feminine in both of them, but ultimately they hold more of a vibration of another, and they all intertwine, of course. Yeah, and then there's all the intertwining and the intertwining, and it's like, let's go down the rabbit hole. Right? No, we're not doing that today, but you can imagine, you can see where that goes, you can feel where that goes, the depth of what you can heal. Hey Jeanette, say hi when you join, guys. I haven't been live for a little bit, arriving back home, and there's so much more I want to say, but this stuff I'm going to stay clear on what we're talking about here, because I've got a lot to say about this stuff, and I've been like talking to clients about it. And the reason I'm coming on here to talk about this father masculine wounding healing, as you guys know, I've been with my dad recently, so there's that. But that's not why I came live, because in the past, like, not even 12 hours, I've been talking to like several clients and someone else about this like father masculine but generational lineage in that. So what I'm talking about today is father masculine wounding healing, to feel safe to receive more light, love and abundance, because it has to come in. That's the masculine healing, do you feel safe to let it come in, right? Of all the things you're desiring, that is the seed of creation. Yeah, so when we think about it, and maybe it's not a thinking thing, right? But where does the seed of desire come from? Where does that pull to come, like to call it in, like to open, right? Is it this? Is it like, I'm trying to get it's so hard to describe the energy, right? Is it in here? Right, that's pulling it in, that's calling it in to start with, and then it comes in. That's the masculine coming in, right? So when I say father masculine wounding healing, to feel safe to receive more light, love and abundance, all the things that you're desiring is the seed of creation. So that feminine receptivity is also where that desire pulls it in. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yes, we're open to receive it, but that starts from in there. Does that make sense? That's what I've been getting the message of to share here, right? Letting go of control. masculine wounding healing, immature masculine is very controlling. So is feminine immaturity, in a sense, right? Letting go of control. Generational lineage shifts with the masculine healing. So a lot of masculine lineage healing going on at the moment energetically, but it flicks to the woman too, right? So along the generational lineage, as you can imagine, all the, if you think about your father and their father and their father, if you kind of go through generational lineage healing and you kind of hit a point, so it's like that father, that father, that father, that father, like, do you know what I mean? You're going down a father line. At one point along the line, it might flick to the feminine, okay? But then you're healing her father, okay? So, and I've obviously it's a thing, right? But I'm feeling called to share that because it's been coming up with several clients, been coming up for myself. It's like, it can be like, say, your father, but then it's like his mother, and then how she was affected by the masculine, if that makes sense. And then we go back. There's that generational shift going on, the 3D to 5D shifts, right? And that's all this stuff I feel like is like, well, it's like a no-brainer, right? And so the light body activation, gridline shifts, Uluru activation, was it solar plexus or was it sacral? My realizations around, oh my God, why was there confusion around that? The anxiety that I've been feeling and so many other people as well have been feeling, and I'm like, okay, I need to talk about this. Next level distractions from your purpose, like apparently distractions with so many people being huge right now, especially even with myself. Toilet paper frustrations and life purpose. Humanity is shifting. Of course, all the solutions for it on this live stream. Okay, let me get talking. All right, let me bring these comments up. Hi, everybody. Hi again, Christina. We just come out of live stream in the Life Purpose Mentorship, doing psychic readings, which has been beautiful in there. Okay. So Janae says, hey, really going through the wounding. Okay, it may be real, maybe imagined from the masculine the past 3 days. Feelings of hurt, trust, broken, and betrayal. Okay, it's a theme, yeah, and it's a theme, and it's not like, oh, it's just a theme in your life. Like remember, whenever we're going through anything and everything in ourselves, it also is usually what's shifting in the collective, especially if you're really in tune and like you're conscious that you feel everything and people and all sorts of things. Okay, so Gabrielle says, open like a lotus flower. It's difficult with caution about trusting. Yeah. And that comes, and this can go so deep, right? And we can go down the rabbit hole and through so many things. Hurt, betrayal, broken. Underneath that is usually abandonment. Yeah, there's abandonment. Do you guys agree that underneath the hurt, betrayal, broken trust is abandonment? Would you guys agree? Let me know. Jeanette says, me too, very hurt. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah, underneath all of that is abandonment. Now, when we look at, and I'm getting covered in goosebumps as I say this, truth bumps, as someone once said on the live stream. When we look at what I just shared about opening, right, and the masculine comes in, we have to feel safe enough to let them in, okay? So when we let them in and we get hurt, and obviously we get hurt, so what happens? Number one, we close down, but then maybe they've left or we're push them away or whatever because that, right? Yeah, that's my biggest trust issue, abandonment, right? So when we look at, let's just talk energetics here for a minute, and also the core of where this starts, okay? This is like the deepest healing. This is also called the God wound, and it's one of the most deepest wounds that you can fix, right? And I say all that in inverted commas because truth is, we're never broken, we're never really, the jazz, right? So let's look at the energetics of the God wound, of the masculine, feminine healing. So vagina, penis. Penis comes in, sperm goes in. We receive that, yeah? The penis pulls out. There is the ultimate abandonment. It's deep, right? And so when you really, like, when we look at it, right, it's almost like you're coming in from God through the penis, whatever. People say creation starts from the feminine. Who came first, chicken or egg? Just bear with me for a minute. We're inside. Yes, it takes two to tango, right? There's only a part here and a part here that then it becomes one. But where did we, whatever, right? So coming in, and that sperm is then left and this pulls out. That's the first point of abandonment, right? And then we grow up and daddy goes to work, and every time he goes to work there's more abandonment and more abandonment. And now I'm not saying the man abandoned us, I'm not saying blah 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 blah, I'm talking about where this really stems from, right? And we can really heal the point and the connection. So I fall off the bench. The connection about where this comes from, right? So we started creation, talking about the healing the core of abandonment, okay? We as a soul, spark, energy, whatever you want to call it, commenced from up in the ethers here, okay, as this being. We've got a mum and a dad. Here mum, here's dad. Comes in, okay, and we kind of split in a way, do we? Don't know, right? We come in, the masculine comes in, we then become one because we've then become ourselves. We've started from one, we've split into two, then we come back into one, do we? I don't know. Masculine comes out. Then we're here in this space for 9-10 months, then we come out. It's another point of abandonment, right? And I'm using these words for a reason, bear with me. We come out of the womb, abandonment, we've left this space, okay, and then we're coming into our own, and we've got this representation of the mum and dad. Dad goes to work, abandonment, okay, mum's busy with other kids, abandonment, like, do you know what I mean? And ultimately what's really going on here is remembering the truth that we're never actually abandoned, we're never actually separated, because our self started here. And we started as this one whole coming from what? Source, spirit, whatever. And then we split, and then we come into mum and dad. We come back to oneness through a filter of something, right? As a filter through of these two experiences of these beings, right? And then we abandon out of the womb, and then we're like, oh, we're kind of abandoned again, but we're figuring out another layer of ourself, coming into consciousness of ourself, of now instead of coming through mum and dad energetically, we're now in this like physical representation of like what that feels like, right? And then we grow up, and then dad leaves, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I know I'm going really freaking deep here. I did not expect to talk about this on this live stream. This is deep, okay? Okay, Vincent, when did you join the live stream? I always thought receiving was a mother issue. Okay, so what I just shared then is bringing another aspect to the receiving issue. Yes, it's a feminine receptivity. We need to open to receive, right? We need to feel safe with our mother. We need to feel loved, nurtured. What does our mother teach us? How to love, nurture, be open, to be soft. Like, yes, if we didn't have that beautiful self-care role mother who's full of love and doesn't have any issues in the world and can give us unconditional love 100% of the time, like yeah, we're probably going to have some other issues on the role model about what the feminine essence is in that beautiful 100% purity of the depth of what that is, right? That's what we open to now. When we click in and receive that and be that as a person, the next step to this, so the next step to your manifesting and receiving and blocks to abundance or whatever, right? The next step is actually feeling safe enough to receive the masculine to come in. Like, yes, we need to be open and safe in the vulnerability and receptivity, right? But the masculine is a penetrating energy, right? And what I mean by that is that when you think about receiving anything, right? Money comes into your bank account or however you receive it, right? A relationship person turns up in your physical reality. That's coming into your energy field. Something else that you're trying to manifest is coming into physical form. It's coming from the ethers of where you originated in creation, and it's filtering through a mum and a dad, for example, coming through a masculine and feminine energy of a physical representation of spirit in physicality, right? And then coming through and birthing you, right, into things. So when you work with receiving and manifesting this physical item from the others, from your thoughts, from what you're, oh yeah, I want this thing, or I'm trying to manifest this thing, right? It's a etheric part of you. It's an idea, and it has to filter through the masculine and feminine to birth into reality of the physical thing turning up. Does that make sense? And so when you look at, oh, I thought receiving in abundance and manifesting was feminine and receiving, it's like, yeah, but it's also about the masculine. There's a divine balance for a reason, right? There's two, there's masculine and feminine within ourselves. We have a masculine energy, we have a feminine energy, we are both, right? It's like, how do we balance that? It's not just like, okay, I'm receptive receiving, but then someone or something comes along and maybe you receive the thing, the relationship, the money, the whatever it is, and then you're like, but it doesn't feel safe, and then we push it away and we sabotage it. Yeah, the cards suddenly fell out. Right? It's big, yeah? I'm going deep here, right? I'm going deep. I did not expect to go this deep, but I did just come out of an hour of psychic reading, so I've already been deep this morning, right? So, when we're looking at talking about healing father wounding, this may be showing up in your relationships right now with abuse. This is so weird. Abuse, torture, betrayal, broken trust, all this stuff, okay? What this is actually triggering within you is these unhealed wounds, obviously, right, of what this person is reflecting about how safe you feel to receive. Now, even that might not be consciously understood right this second, okay? Because even that was pretty deep. I'm like, oof, that was even big for my brain, right? So now, please know I'm not denying the hurt, the pain, everything that your heart is feeling right now, okay? You love it when I go deep. Okay, cool. It's like, is everybody still with me here? Because even this is, I'm just like, whoa, this is dropping into some depth, right? Okay. It's like, how deep can you receive the masculine? How deep can you receive? How big are your desires? And are you really holding the capacity in your energetic being to receive what you're asking for? Just like I said, you might be really open. You're like, yeah, I'm good in my feminine energy. I feel safe to receive. I take care of myself. I step up. I'm all good in the vulnerability. Like, yeah, and it comes in. And then you're like, whoa, hang on a sec. Actually, nah. I'm all good with just me. Bring something else. Yeah. Right? Are you still up here coming in, or are you ready to receive the balance? Yeah, it's so interesting, right? When we look at the pyramid stuff, the Merkaba stuff, and I'm going like this. It's like the point up here and the points here and the points that come in here. So interesting, because I'm about to film the ear chakra consciousness, and it's like, look what's coming in. The triangle, pyramids, the Merkaba stuff that drops in, sacral chakra crossover. Okay, and that brings me to what I talked about on the topic of this live stream, is the solar plexus of the earth, Uluru activation, and the sacral chakra. Now, I originally thought it was the sacral chakra because when I did the global live healing back in April last year, I think it was, it intuitively came through and I was like, oh, it's the sacral chakra of the earth. And it, like, my logic mind was like, but everyone's saying it's the solar plexus. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm getting sacral, you know, and I did that, right? And then everyone was talking about Uluru activation at solar plexus, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe it is solar plexus, right? This is me not trusting my intuition. It happens to me too, right? Take those outside thoughts and take them on as myself, and that's another layer of the manifestation stuff going on here. We won't get into that because that's taking it to another level. Another aspect of manifestation. The ear chakra is all about manifestation, can you tell? Okay, you have to be open to receive, but the depth of that. Okay, so Uluru, okay, solar plexus, sacral. Okay, I thought originally sacral chakra. Now, everyone's like solar plexus, and I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense. We're all taking our power back, different shifts, right? Now, what is this about the power as well? Okay, power, masculine energy is very in the power. Okay, yes, there's power in feminine energy, but when we look at soft and hard, usually we go masculine hard, feminine soft. Would you agree? Generalized, right? And so when we look at the solar plexus taking power back, blah, 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 like the reason for the confusion, and even for myself, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense, and I just ran with it, and then someone said that Justin from the Liquid Crystals also speaks about sacral chakra, and I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, I was like, okay, maybe that's why I got it too, whatever, right? Didn't think much of it. And then just in the past week or two, it's dropped in. It's like, the shift from the whole humanity awakening and consciousness shift, right? Ultimately is we're shifting from 3D to 5D, and of course there's more Ds to come, right? At the moment, it's big focus on 5D and 5G. Won't even go there for a second. But when we look at, is, and I don't even know this is a fact, right? This is what's intuitively dropped in about the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and Uluru. Is, my intuition, is it that Uluru is in the 3D, gridline, humanity, consciousness, the solar plexus in the 3D is Uluru. Now, when I say that, I want you to really feel into the whole earth, what the energies are on a 3D grid compared to a 5D grid, earth, and the 5D. For me, I was like, oh, well, is it then that 5D is actually sacral chakra of that? Now, if we look at it on a very practical, where the equator is and where the chakras would be, for example, is it that, 3D here, solar plexus, and 5D and sacral chakra would technically be below, but if the shift is that it all moves up, like in a 5D, so like, if you got like chakras coming down, like crown, heart, etc. coming down, is it that this whole, we've just shifted up? Does that make sense? It's crazy, right? Apparently Uluru is the umbilical cord, which would make sense being sacral. Exactly, right? Exactly. Now, when I always talk about the sacral, what do I say? I say the sacral is where we birth new realities. Like, yes, women actually birth babies, which is birthing a whole new reality, and that's so deep in itself, right? All the changes that mum and dad go through, and here's that whole, reality shift again. Yeah. And when we talk about ear chakras, it's the consciousness shift. It's the reality, the dimensional shifts that happen at the ear chakras, right? Now, okay, so Uluru, okay, I talked about that. What else did I have in there? So moving from 3D to 5D, is that actually what's going on then, right? Is it that, everyone talks about the new earth and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, a big part of the new earth is like shifting into the new consciousness that some people have actually been living and anchoring in on the earth for quite some time, right? It's now that just is the whole of humanity catching up. Is it the 100th monkey syndrome where everyone flicks over? If you guys haven't Googled that or don't know that story, please do. It's a thing, right? So let me check these comments. Okay, so Gabrielle says, wow, I think I needed this today because I've been working on removing mind blocks. Ding! There we go. Okay, still here. Nalina's still there. Okay, awesome. Sometimes I go deep and I'm like, eek, like sometimes it drops in. I'm just like, wow, did that just come through? Okay, so Janaea says, yeah, for me, it's the confusion in the mind, which is challenging. Okay, so we get confused, right, by taking on somebody else's thoughts, opinions, and the reason for confusion is because we swallow that as our truth. However, that's not our truth. That's those people's realities, whether it came from a book or somebody talking like me, or, like whatever in the world is outside of you, okay? Your heart knows the truth, what's right for you and your reality and what your energy and aura and all of that is, okay? You get confused when you're really clear in that, but then somebody says something and you're like, oh, and that comes in and you're like, oh, I'm confused now, like, because you've just shut down your heart and what's right for you. Does that make sense? So shake that off, get that out, even stuff that I am saying. Okay, like it's a thing, like trust yourself over what I share all the time. You need to trust your own heart even over whatever is written, whatever, like, do you know what I mean? Like it all comes from somebody's thought and filtered through their reality, right? More than, like, that's where it all starts all the time. So I'm like, trust your intuition over what I say. So I teach trust your intuition, right? It's so important. Okay, Janae says, oh yeah, we read that. So yes, I felt much confusion. I've made a promise to myself to meditate 15 minutes twice a day. Yes. Concentrate on the deep breath, working through it. Yes, the confusion comes in when we're not trusting our heart, Or when our heart's like, yeah, and then the mind comes in and goes, but no, you can't do that because, and you shut down your own heart with your mind and you're like, oh, now I'm confused about what to do because your mind comes in, right? I'm in confusion with a situation with a man with a recent betrayal, hurt, father wound. Yeah, so when we look at that, right, we've opened up our heart. We're like, in this relationship, we're like, yes. And then all of a sudden, like we get hurt, like, you know, whatever happens, betrayal, and we're like, what? That doesn't make sense. We had this beautiful heart connection and we had all this stuff, right? And that is really confusing because we're like, what did I do wrong? What happened? Like, you know, and then the anger will come up. Like, how dare you do that to me? How dare you hurt me? How dare I open my heart and trust you and give you my all? And then you turn around and do that to me. I'm never going to open again. I'm never going to trust again. And we just, yeah? So it's so important when we open to a person, especially I'm talking specifically relationship here, and we open, right? There's so many threads to this actually, okay? And I'm going to speak about this, okay? I'm not exactly sure what happened, okay? But the one piece I want to share that I actually shared in my Trust Intuition group yesterday, actually, on the live stream, and it's something that just, it's a thing, right? When we feel safe with somebody, now this could be anybody, doesn't have to be an intimate relationship. When we feel safe with somebody, we feel safe with a partner, a friend, any person, okay? And we feel safe. What happens? And we spend time with them and we start to know, you know, we open. We feel safe, we open, yeah? And then we start sharing deeper and like, yeah, and you know, and it's like, you know, so we're like, oh, okay. What happens in that openness is we feel safe. Now, in safety, all the things that are not in alignment with safety tend to come up, right? Now, safety creates a connection. We feel safe with somebody. And so the harder, darker, sad feelings, we might start to like, you know, fight or something, right? And that's because the connection has been created to feel safe to them. Like, right, you know, something comes up and it hurts us. And we're like, oh, every time I open to somebody, then I get hurt. Like, then we create a belief system like that and then it starts reflecting in our reality. Like I said, there's so many threads to this, right? Now, when you said, yep, it's that giving your all, cool. I put that in there specifically because I have a feeling, because this is what happens, right? And this is what I've experienced personally, and this is why I can talk about it, because I used to jump into a relationship and just be like, oh yes, like I'm fully open, like 100%. Now, I'm not saying you don't open in a relationship. It's not what I'm saying, right? I'm talking from personal experience of jumping into relationships, giving my all, like, you know, moving everything aside in my world and my life to like be there and, you know, like just make sure that I'm there, I'm always there, and it's all like I give my all. Right? And we kind of expect that back. We're like, well, I'm giving my all. So, you know, it's like a subconscious expect it back in a way. However, what we've just done when we do that is we step into people pleasing. It's a role that we've learned early on from childhood that if I give my all, then I'll be good enough to be loved. If I do this in this way and like be this person, and oh my God, this person's like into me as well, and if I do this, then, you know, like they're gonna love me back. And please know, I'm not saying this at a nasty way, okay? This is what I've walked through and I'm just going, wow, I'm not doing that again. And it's not that I won't open in a relationship. I will open with boundaries. I will open with self-care. I will open with putting me first over anyone else. And I've walked through so many relationship hurts to freaking come out the other side and know this, right? Now, I haven't entered into another relationship yet. I could have, but I've chosen to get strong in my boundaries, in my value systems, in my self-care, in putting me first, not other people, so that when I choose to enter into a relationship again, I'm going to do it with deep freaking awareness, with deep self-care, strong boundaries, and internal integrity value systems for myself, to allow that right person to meet me there, not me drop everything and drop my whole life, to move everything out of the way and to be there for them. Because it's like I don't know, like there's so much I could talk about this, like I said, right? But I know from experience, that's when I've been hurt the most. Now, it's not that I don't give in a relationship. It's not that I don't be there for them. It's not that I don't open. It's not that. But the old Hannah used to jump into a relationship with no boundaries, no self-care. Like, I was really good. I was in a really good place. And then I get in a relationship and it just all fell apart. Why? Because I made them more important than me. Now, I'm not saying that in a snobby, selfish way that I won't care for somebody, but it has to be a balanced, reciprocal relationship. And that only comes when I can do that for myself first, right? So maybe that's not what was going on for you. But when I purposely kind of said that is that giving your all, because I've walked through that so many times, and that's where the biggest hurt comes up. Because you know what it is? For me personally, that was where I gave my all, and that betrayal and hurt was so much more because I knew that I pushed my entire life out the way for them, and that's the abandonment. That is the true abandonment. It's not them. It's that I didn't put me first. And it's not like, you know, like I'm just going to be so selfish and blunt in a relationship and I'm not going to do them. Like, no. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about deeply caring for myself first and having a balanced self life, caring for myself, my own awareness in what I do in my day for other people, what I do in my week for other people, what I do for myself. Like, where's that balance? Be really strong and clear in those boundaries, in those self-care, in those pieces, because then I will have, you know, the courage, the strength, the confidence to not drop everything and drop all that self-care and that beautiful love that I've been giving myself that has attracted a beautiful relationship whenever that happens, right? I feel like I'm ready and I'm not ready, just so I know that I'm like been working on myself, right? And so when we create this safe container within ourselves, not just in a relationship, reflecting to someone else, because when we look at another depth to this, self-care, taking care of yourself, boundaries, loving yourself, putting yourself first is a masculine energy. What does the father do? The father, on an energetic level, protects the kids, the family, the tribe. Men, the masculine is protector. Protecting boundaries, protecting, creating the safe container. I'm covered in goosebumps as I say this. If you don't have that for yourself, right, or maybe you do have that for yourself and then you step into a relationship and all that goes out the window, that's where the actual wounding and healing is. Does that make sense, right? So please know I'm like not denying how much you're probably hurting right now, because I know that I've been there and it's like the worst thing. It's like there's nothing worse than it. But underneath at the core, what's going on is that you probably dropped boundaries, you probably dropped everything, you probably pushed your life aside for them, and it's the abandonment of self that's hurting the most. And sometimes that comes later and we're like, fucking did it again. Because I've walked through that. And after the last time I was like, I'm not doing that again. And I'm not going to enter into any relationship again or anybody that shows the slightest interest in me for a time. And when I'm ready to start stepping out into the world, then it'll be a different energy, a different, thing. And it's not like I'm this hard ass, like, bitch. I've been working on the soft energy. And it's so interesting. I just come out of the live stream in the Life Purpose Mentorship talking about this exact thing on the last psychic reading I did. It's the energetics that we're presenting to the world. We can be that soft, feminine, open, receptive being in our energy inside. And that's what people feel in the energy of the world. Right? And the universe is feeling we're open and receptive. That does not mean that we don't have boundaries and assert our deep, loving no, right? At the same time. We can do both. Yeah? Okay. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'm just double checking I covered everything I wanted to come on here and talk about. Oh, the anxiety. Okay. And the toilet paper frustrations. Okay, little side note. I want to say this whole toilet paper thing, I haven't been to the shop. Maybe there's none left. I don't know. But because everyone's like, have you actually got toilet paper in Australia? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't been for a couple of days. Not to the toilet. I've been to the toilet, not to the shops, to get toilet paper. But I'm about to find out probably this afternoon because I need to go and get more toilet paper. Anyway, what dropped in the other day about the toilet paper thing, I was just like, the first thing, and I know I probably talked about this somewhere, but I was in a shop and the conversation came up, just people standing around, and I was like, it's so interesting to me. Like, I just voiced it so everyone could hear as I do on my live streams. I was like, it's so interesting to me. The first thing people go to for survival is toilet paper. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, people should be going for water. I'm like, did you guys hear this? And then I had people talking about it. Anyway, it was kind of interesting, right? Now, someone asked me why water, and I'm like, well, water is the only thing that we can't live without. We can live without food for a huge chunk of time. Water is something we can't live without, right? We can go for periods of time without water. That comes with deep training, by the way, and working up to that. But water is the only thing we can't live without, right? Food we can go without for quite some time. So, little other side note about the toilet paper thing. It's quite interesting to me because toilet paper is full of chemicals. And toilet paper, when we're wiping our bottoms with toilet paper, is putting the chemicals onto a very sensitive hormonal place that is absorbing all those chemicals. And if there's more toilet paper demand, have they caught on to that? Are they ramping up the chemicals? I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even be saying these sorts of things, but I need to voice it because our base chakra is where we feel safe in the world, and our base chakra is deeply connected to our reproductive organs, and our reproductive organs sometimes are really closed, and our ear chakras are deeply connected to our ovaries. They look the same as our ovaries. Women, men, still connected. You've got a sacral chakra. It doesn't matter whether it's energetic or physical, you've both got them, okay? Now, it's so interesting, this toilet paper thing, the fear flooding through the planet, the maybe scarcity as well, right? They're really playing into that. Now, when you really think about the toilet paper and the chemicals and the connection to wiping. Now, when I always talk about the ears, it's the ears, the heart, and the base that are deeply connected, and the chemicals that go into our system through that, let alone through our water and all the foods and all the jazz. Like, there's so much, right? And yes, we can overcome chemicals in our environment. However, it takes a lot of training to be at a certain vibrational point, like Buddha and the poison and all of that, okay? So when we really look at the depths of what's actually going on, not only is the toilet paper full of chemicals and our base and our hormone reproductive system, it's also where our base chakra is, which is the seat of our life purpose, by the way. It's also where we feel grounded on the earth and we're open in deep trust, and it's also whether we're in deep trust or we're in extreme fear about our physical reality. And that, I feel, is what they're clutching onto right now, because more people are coming grounded into their body, then more people are awakening to their life purpose. More people are going, oh, I can take my power back and do all these things. And look what they're tapping into. Okay, so toilet paper becomes a cosmic joke, but it's all connected, right? So interesting. Yeah, we talk about survival and the water, and the first thing everyone's going to is toilet paper. It's like, yeah, it's lots of things to contemplate there, right? Let me talk about the anxiety, which I feel I'll do a different post on as well, because anxiety is a big topic. So with anxiety, it's obviously in the heart, okay? Where are we not feeling safe in the world? If our base chakra is closed, right, so is our heart. It's like it comes up, right? And we're like, then we're stuck in our head and we're in the survival mode and the base chakra is closed. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, it's all connected. Now, on top of that, shifting from 3D to 5D, light body activation. What's happening? Our consciousness is awakening. Light is coming into our system. More light is coming into our system, right? Into our body, into the earth, whatever. And a lot of people are like, this energy, I don't know what to do with it, and we're not grounded, okay? First thing to do is get grounded in your body. The fastest way to do that is through exercise, okay? The next thing to really be conscious of is that when you're, first thing to ask, like, there's so many things, and I'll do a separate post so you can have a checklist, right? Where are you feeling scared, right? Where are you feeling scared about, about the future, right? Anxiety, they say in those books, is a fear of the future. When you really think about it, it kind of taps in with what we're talking about, our physical reality, base chakra, closed or open in trust, right? Closed in survival mode, and then it all comes up and we're up here and freaking out and we're not grounded. We're taking on all these thoughts and everything. That's all the energies that are going on. So we can get grounded in our body, right? And allow our system to stabilize, and we drop into that deep trust, then we can allow the activations in the high energy frequency that is coming in, that if we're not grounded in our body, it's like it will fry our system. Hello, is the 5G frying us, or is it the 5D that we're not grounded and receptive in our open container, that we've been working to shift into our feminine and receive more, and then all this light is coming in, which light and dark, light is a masculine energy, dark is the feminine, closed, right? Light is open, and masculine ultimately. Whew. I had a lot to say. That is like next level. Did you guys get that? Are you with me? Are you with me? That was like, whew. an activation in itself. Okay, the things we need to do are get out of fear mode. How do we do that? Get out of survival mode. How do we do that? We work on feeling safe. The fastest way to feel safe is to connect with your inner child, okay? It's your inner child that feels scared, okay? Grounded in your body, all those beautiful things, those self-care things and the strict boundaries to not let anything else get in the way of putting you first, to continue to feel safe in the world. Masculine energy is about protecting the tribe. It makes us feel safe. If you do not feel safe receiving the masculine, everything else will shut down. It's big, right? Drink lots of water. Inner child, yes, it's the fastest way to activate your life purpose, to feel safe, to increase your intuition. If you haven't connected with your inner child, I highly recommend, but not just once or twice, on a regular basis, okay? So there was a lot of things that I had to share about this. So if you feel that this has helped you, please comment below, or you can share it with somebody. You can tag their name in the comments. Please let me know if you've got any questions, if you're watching the replay. I know this has been deep, but if you were to listen to this over and over again, it would take to the next level. Oh my goodness, this is huge, right? Still covered in goosebumps or truth bumps, which means we're tapping into the truth. And I'm so excited to feel in the ear chakra consciousness because, oh my God, so awesome. So I would love to know how you guys, maybe you can't, it hasn't consciously like, it's a bit too much. Please know you're energetically receiving it and receiving the upgrades that just happened on this live stream unexpectedly. Talk about activating ear chakras and the pyramids and like, love you guys heaps. And Trust Your Intuition is actually opening sooner than I said. I said March 14, but on Tuesday Tarot, which is only another 2 days, Trust Your Intuition will be open, and this is where you can deeply trust your intuition over what anyone says. Is how you learn to decipher your energy. Obviously, we increase your psychic awareness. It's an easy way to release trauma out of your system so that you become lighter and your intuition becomes more on point. You're so welcome, guys. So the link is on my page. I'll post about Trust Intuition, or you can send me a message if you've got any questions at all about anything we've spoken about. And that also means the inner circle is open as well. And this is where you get access to Trust Your Intuition, but you also get access to everything that I create over the next 12 months. And there is some things coming up, let me tell you. Plus you get one-on-one access to me, of course. And this is where we can dive deep and actually decipher intuitively what needs to shift for you, or if you need support in really stepping into your purpose as a healer or coming out into the world with whatever you're doing. You don't have to be a healer in your business. You could have a normal business and use your intuition in that business. That's definitely a thing, right? And that's how we amplify whatever it is we're working on in the world. So send me a message if you've got any questions. Yeah, you're so welcome, guys. This has been great. Yes, you're so welcome. So lovely to have you here. So Nikki says divine timing. Thank you. I pulled a digital card a few days ago. It said awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being. Ding! It's big ear chakras. Yeah, like the ear chakra. And I mean, like, I know everything's shifting on the planet, but the ear chakra consciousness hasn't been grounded on the planet, you know, like it's, yeah, and this is why I'm like so big. And this road trip that I just did taught me so much. I'm like, right, it's like where it all just, I'm like, right, let me get home so I can film this. It's kind of, I managed to work on the road. I haven't managed and figured out like the proper filming on the road yet, but I was getting shown all the bits that I needed, and that's coming. So yeah, definitely exactly what's going on. The awakening, energetic upgrades, and a new way of being. Like, we are leaving old realities, which, by the way, crown chakra is opening up to spirit. We come down. I start from the crown down and bring it down, right? The third eye chakra is seeing new realities. We see relationship dynamics. We change the past, present, future. We're changing the dynamics. Woof, at the ear chakras, this is where we ground it. So even though it's still a higher up chakra, the ears, the heart, and the base are deeply connected. So we're already implementing these new realities and grounding them into our physical reality, right? With this newfound awareness, with this new way of seeing reality and consciousness. Like, do you know what I mean? It's huge, yeah? So Danny says, I had a massive upgrade last week on the floor. Was it Notorious for an hour? Yes, exactly. Oh, meditation. I was like Notorious, like bawling your eyes out. I don't know, meditation is so like intense, like these upgrades that are going on. It can feel like the world is crumbling, right? And it's so important to anchor in these boundaries and being able to like really deeply anchor in the new vibrations. Like just keep reminding yourself, as I always say, you know, when you're feeling like all of this in your system, like remember to check, you know, am I grounded? When did I last take care of myself? And it's not about stopping the crying either. It's not that, because crying is deeply releasing all those heavy vibrations that you've been carrying for a long time. And when we think about the light coming in that we've been working so hard to open up and receive, right? And the light is a very high vibration. We're moving from a dense 3D to a higher vibration 5D. That density just can't come with us, and it's got to purge out of our system somewhere, sometime, somehow. And that's why you're probably getting these shifts to like eat more high vibrational food, detox your body, change your environment, like because we're moving with the light. Yeah, so know that it's all part of the upgrades and the shifts. Yeah, I was covered in goosebumps when I said that. I'm gonna Google that word right now. I'm so curious what this is. Meritorious. It's probably something completely different. Oh, deserving reward or praise. Check it out. This is what it Googled up. The dictionary says meritorious. Well, that makes sense. Merit, like meritorious. A medal for meritorious conduct. Meritorious conduct. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Similar to praiseworthy or laudable. It's so interesting. It's interesting, right? How much of a sign is that for you? About that. I love that so much. Oh, that's so special. All right. Thanks for, yeah, it's so cool. Thanks for joining live, guys. If you think this can help somebody, like I said, please share it or what have you. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Love you.